All right. I'm going to try and get my switches working. I like them mounted up here, and they were already wired. So go down through this A-pillar, through this channel in the cab, and all the way back to about here. So I'm going to, tonight, hopefully get those wired into the solenoids. Okay, the solenoid switches are now restored and functional. I don't have the fuse plugged in back there. I plugged everything when I was doing this wiring, but you know, that don't seem like much, but that's just one thing done. If I do one thing 1,000 times, I'll be getting closer. It's just one little thing done, but you know what they say, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a camel that you can't make drink with a straw on his back. Yeah, something like that.
Hey, welcome to Rat Rodding. My name's Whalen Wire, and don't ever do what we do here on this channel.
Hi guys, welcome back to Whalen Wire's Old Iron. I'm sure happy you're here. We hit a milestone. Yep, we crossed over a line. Let's take a look. Oh, I love how it looks after a rain. It cleans the air, and the mountains look like you can just reach out and touch them. Well, I had a little issue here with my pressure switch. Last time it ran down and pressure ran down and it kicked on, only one compressor came on. So I unplugged this wire and plugged it back in, and then both compressors came on. And plus, it's supposed to kick on at 135, and it's not. It just goes down, and then it doesn't kick on until you unplug a wire and then plug it back in. So I'm going to swap out that pressure switch. I've got another one that's a little bit higher pressure, but that's okay. We don't mind high pressure, do we? We can take it, man. We can take the pressure. Yeah. That's how we do this. So finally, I was using my brain that day that I installed this, because that's a handy thing. You can pressurize it with the shop air hose here, like I've done a couple times while I was testing things. And also, if you could air up a tire if you had to out of that. So yeah, finally got me something nice. I have a switch here. It is comes on at 90 and kicks off at 110, and that's not quite as much as I would like. And the one I took out was about right. It came on at 120 and kicked off at 150. I didn't mind that too bad. But the new one that came with these new compressors, these are bigger compressors than I had in here. Well, apparently they think it can take some pressure, because this one comes on at 165 and goes off at 200. I don't know, is that a little extreme, or is that about normal? Anybody up on this airbag stuff knows about that? I know the tanks will take it, but do you need that much? I don't know. This one I can live with. It comes on at 150 and goes off at 180. I think I can live with that. But, yeah, let's see if we can get it in there and possibly have it not leak. Well, ain't this a revolting development? Somewhere along the way, somebody got my tape a little bit hot. What's going on? Probably good. And I'm gonna shoot some air in there. This will get me up to 100 pounds. Then I'll kick the compressors on and go from there. Uh-oh. This calls for the big boys. Time to get out the big boys. Maybe I should have used pipe dope instead of Teflon tape. I don't know. Not too late. Can still do it. Okay. I think that's better. Fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I need one of these.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
Everybody should have one.
Yes. Wow. That is cute as can be. Have a kickstand.
You all done?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That
got
was
kickstand.
fun.
Yeah.
Wow, look, you got your little basket so you
Oh,
can
yeah.
do your shopping.
Yep. Noah uses it for everything. Okay, today I'm just doing little odds and ends on this thing, but everything needs to be done. It all takes time. And I'm going to tune you guys out now because I have to go crank up some Kentucky Headhunters. And y'all don't get to listen because YouTube is jealous of my music. Y'all probably wondering why I'm bothering with setting up a heater hose fitting on this intake and on the water pump. And well, I talked to Mr. Chefaholic and I talked to him about various things and ways to cool this engine, and I mentioned some heating issues earlier when I was pointing out how I had at one time installed 2 radiators in the back, but that didn't really help any because the hot air is blowing out of one right into the other, I guess. Anyway, I know I had a suggestion that I should wrap the water pipes. I did wrap the exhaust pipes where they run alongside the water pipes to the back, but I didn't wrap the water pipes with header wrap, so I'm going to do that. Good suggestion from Noah. And also, Chefaholic says that it might probably help if I had an auxiliary coolant cooler. Well, I'm kind of familiar with those because I have an auxiliary transmission cooler that has its own fan. And he was saying before I spend the big money on a cooler from, online or something, is to just take a little Subaru radiator and make my own little remote cooler. And I've got some pretty good fans. And he said, you probably got a Subaru radiator laying around. I go, yeah, we probably got a couple of those. So I'm going to do that. And I said, well, how would I incorporate into my cooling system? Because I'm thinking about coming off the radiator hose somehow. And he goes, no, use your heater core or heater hose setup. And I go, well, duh, of course that's how you do it. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to be a bit restricted here, but I mean, with going to this size as opposed to the size coming out of the radiator, but it's not much bigger. It's just a little bitty feller. Anyway, it's better than nothing. So I'm going to give that a try, and I'm going to mount that up front where it can catch some air, and I'm going to put a real good fan on it. Maybe build a shroud, whatever I need to do. But we're going to give that a try. And that coupled with electric water pump, which takes that load off the engine, that should help too. Tony thinks this is really going to help me out quite a bit, and I'm hoping it will. But yeah, we're going to install a remote coolant cooler. So that's the reasoning behind what I'm doing here right now. You see, the thing is, the problem is you got to keep an eye on old Waylon at all times. And Tony was here, but he told me to make a plate for a ground block or ground distribution block, and I did. But you know, the thing is, he wasn't watching me. Every minute you got to watch old Waylon, and he wasn't. And these were individual terminals separated by these fins, and we didn't need that. We needed them all to be connected. So this is the only one he had. We're just using what we had. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're just trying to get as much done as possible, and that's what we did. So he said, if you can just make them all connect. And I said, all right, I will daisy chain them. So kaplunk, 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 that's what I did. But then after I got done, he said, you know, that'd be better if you made that out of aluminum. And I know, I trust his advice, and you know, it's my fault. I should have ran it by him before I did that, but it's not too late, you know. Victor always asks me when we've got an issue with grafting, he will always say, if he needs something, the way he approaches it, he will say, you know, if it's possible, I would like to have this or that or that, if it's possible. He always throws in that disclaimer, if it's possible. And I said, Victor, anything is possible. Everything's possible. It just takes longer and costs more. So this is going to take longer, but it's not going to cost any more, because I already got the aluminum right here. And this is kind of cool, because this is part of this was used in the Rockabilly Rat, so it's kind of fun to carry some of that on through to the Doje'llac. All right, I'm gonna rip this apart. I'm gonna jump on this like a monkey on a cupcake, and before you know it, it'll be set up just like it was, only it'll be a piece that's less corrosive. Hey, I want to give a big shout out to Tony over at Balin Wires Old Iron. And guys, he's trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by Christmas. So let's go over to his channel and hit the subscribe button. Let's all try to help Tony get to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you. think I'll pick it up and put the exhaust cutout, the other electric exhaust cutout. I left this loose until I get that in, and I might put a wire on the starter solenoid while I'm under there. All right, let's do it. Let's get over there. Come on. Bingo. Don't know. How about that? Might have to start that one from the top. I don't know if I got it started or not. Oh, well, get her down, take a look. Well. What I'm doing right now is I'm going to go ahead and tighten up these headers. I left them loose while I was putting in the electric cutouts, and I got those installed. I don't have the wire plugged in yet. I don't have them wired. I need to do that, but I'm going to go ahead and tighten these up first, and then I'll see about wiring up those cutouts. Got a wire in a starter. You know, it just goes on and on. But I'll get there eventually. Someday. Start spreading the news. Okay. That's that.
How often do you have to regrind joints? Sharpen them? Do you sharpen them? Or?
No, you sand them.
Sand them.
File them. I used to have a little points file. You put a little file in there, like a little fingernail file. I always talk about filing the points. And if you're out on the road and you don't have a feeler gauge, a little paper matchbook is exactly 15 thousandths. This is the latest pipe bender from Eastwood.
Yeah.
Yep, works great. Get you a perfect 90 every time without a kink. Noah is installing valve covers, and I am working on the fuel system. All right, fuel line is plumbed in. I'm gonna give it a little bend because that's gonna tap on there and drive me nuts. I'll fix that. Anyway, that's cool to have that done. And I'm going to spool up that oil pump. I'm going to give that a spin with my tool, just because it's a new pump and it's completely dry. So I'm going to spin it around a couple times and see if we can get some pump up a little oil pressure. Which reminds me, I got to put my oil pressure gauge on, or else we're going to squirt oil everywhere. That goes right down there. So let's do that next, I guess. Oh, and it just goes on and on and on, but one little thing at a time. I got the seats wired in, the electric Cadillac leather seats. Pretty plush, huh? Anyway, I got those up and running. Both of them. Well, I've got the power turned off right now. And I have, I got a big master switch right back there that kills everything on this truck. Kills both batteries, graveyard dead. And it's right there where I can reach it really easily. So yeah, this is the switch I just put in. This is going to run the front water pump, and this is the fuel pump, and this is the fans. Well, I think I might have a bad water pump. I put some power to it. I hit it with 12 volts, and when I hooked up the ground, I had the positive hooked up first, and when I connected the ground, I got a big spark, but the motor doesn't turn. So I'm gonna go from here and try it. Eliminate some of this wiring, although it should all be good, but let's see what happens. Well, I eliminated a wire connection that I had here. Oh, but it don't sound too healthy. I don't know. I don't think I trust it. I know I don't trust it. So I'm gonna yank it off there, I guess. Well, this pump is bad, I guess. That must have been a reason I had a brand new one in a box sitting on the shelf. I just now unpacked it, and so you hook it up, it runs, and I guess there's a reason I had that in inventory. So that's kind of nice. I guess I'll just go ahead and swap them out. Guess it'd be kind of fun to take that other one apart and see what's rattling around in there. Maybe that's something Noah wants to do. Okay. 35. Ping. Well, I was getting ready to hook up my starter, and I noticed a little crack in this housing on the solenoid there, and I reached down and touched it, and it just fell apart. It came apart from together. Well, won't that be fun? Let's start her now. Oh boy, I hope I don't have to take the headers loose and all that, because I just got them tightened up. Yeah. Okay. Guess I'll dig into that. 1 step forward and 3 back. So to get that starter out, the headers have to come off. How about that? I don't know if this is necessary or not, but it's what I'm going to do. Just because I put a new oil pump on this thing and it's dry, I thought I would go ahead and spin it up, spool it up, and see if I can get some oil pressure built up. Okay, that's what it's supposed to sound like. Did y'all hear it pull down? I did. Hard to get some drag. Oh, let me see. What am I doing here? Oh, I'm about to crimp an eyelet, a little eye connector onto this wire. And there's something I always do, just because of who I am. I don't believe in butt connectors. I don't believe in crimped connectors. So even when I crimp one that's even that good, and you could probably take a D9 cat and tow a semi truck with that and it wouldn't break. Well, it might break, but anyway, what I'm getting at is, even though that's pretty stout, I still always put a little spot of solder on there. There's not one butt connector in this entire build, nor will there ever be in anything that I ever build. Just those crimp connectors. I don't believe in them. So yeah, I'm gonna get my little crack torch, and if I can find it, solder that up. Yeah, just a little spot. Just makes me feel so good about myself when I do that, you know. Let's do the bumpity bump thing and find the number one. Oh yeah, I pumped some oil up in this thing. 1-843-6572, boom! Well, either the timing's way off or the battery's way low. Hoping it's the battery. Well, I figured out what was going on. I remembered that starter. I tried to put that on my red truck one time. And what the deal is, it's binding up. The Bendix is not releasing, so I'm gonna have to put a couple of shims in there. 1 or 3, I don't know. Seems like I had to loosen it a long way to get it back off, but if it's nice and level, maybe it'll back out. Maybe it'll kick out, you know. All right. Yeah, well, those bolts got to come all the way out. Okay. Okay, I got to pull that starter off. There's something going on with that starter. And I remember now, I tried it on my red truck and it didn't work out. And I put a bunch of shims in it and I still just can't get it to work. So I'm going to probably swap the nose cone on it because it's a new starter. And yeah, but in order to pull the starter, I got to take the exhaust apart at the exhaust cutout and loosen all that up so that, yeah, so I get to the starter wiring and all that. As Noah would say, who designed this thing? Okay, I made one more last ditch effort before I pulled that exhaust all apart and took the starter out. And I added another shim. I had 7, 8. 1, 2, 4. I had 8 shims in there. Every time I put shims in, a couple shims in, I turn it over and I get under there and look, and that Bendix spring or Bendix gear would not be popping out of the starter ring on the flywheel. It was just go in and then be bound up in there. I finally put 8 shims in there and got it to pop back out, but the starter is still just growling and moaning. So, you know, for some reason I got hung up on the idea of changing that nose cone just because I knew there was an issue with this, but really, the only thing wrong with the starter I took out was the broken solenoid. So I just swapped them out. Just now got to put back together. Hours later. But there's a procedure. You know, this bolt has to go in first and all that down the line. And anyway, I just turned the power on. I haven't tried it yet. Thought I'd wait for you guys to get here. Let's see what it sounds like now. Sounds like a dead battery now. Okay. But that sounds better. All right. I don't know. 2 things I don't know. Well, there's a lot more than that, but there's 2 things that I know that I don't know at this point. I don't know if, I don't know where my timing is exactly. Well, nowhere near. I know I pulled it up on number 1 compression and kind of figured out where I think number 1 is and wired it from there. And the other thing I don't know is, I don't know if the exhaust cutouts are open or closed. Hello? Hello? So I guess I'm going to find out. If it fires, I don't know, I'll give her a couple of squirts. I'll Need to turn the fuel pump on, I know that. I mean, might help. I don't know how much gas is in this thing either. That's another thing I don't know. That fuel pump doesn't quieten down the way I would like for it to. When it pulls fuel, they usually go "eeeow," and it's not doing "eeeow," it's just doing "ee." Fuel. I gotta put some gas in this thing, but hey, it fired, and the exhaust cutouts are closed. I wonder if we got any oil pressure. Well, there goes the fuel pump. I think I heard it quiet down. I don't have any oil pressure yet. I should have cranked it over a few times. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll crank it over a few times without the ignition on. Oh, there we go. Yeah, she's building good oil pressure. But fuel pump's not pumping gas. So let me just put some gas in this thing. Well, to pull an old rat rodder that lived down in Georgia, that's my idea of what love looks like. Amen and hallelujah. There's a little bit of oil and stuff burning off the headers. Ain't nothing but a thing. Boy, Bale Wire, you did a good job on those carburetors, man. This thing's gonna run. It's gonna run like a scalded hound. I wonder. I forgot to look at what kind of oil pressure I had. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll fire it up one more time. 60 pounds. It never had more than 20, 25 pounds oil pressure when you're running it. And once you idle down, it'd be about 5. So I put a high pressure oil pump in it. And I don't know if you're supposed to or not, but I tacked that sump onto the oil pump, that pickup tube. Anyway, yeah, I'm liking this. You know, now I can, I got a long ways to go yet, but it's to the point where I can fire this thing up, air the bags up, back it out of here if I need the lift. And I need the lift. This thing's been tying it up for a long time. Boy, this makes me happy. This is a major milestone right here. This is a long way from, we got a long way to go, but this is a long way from where we started. I think the distance from where we started is longer than the distance we got to go. Still got to put all the front end back on it, power steering, pump belts, you know, plumbing. I do plumbing. You know, it's a road. It's a road to go down yet, but yeah. Well, I was going to say, when I get to the sheet metal, I like that. I like working with, I like beating on metal, man. I don't like wiring. Oh, and I still got a long way to, I still got to put that headline in over there and then wire all the lights. But I got the incentive to do it, man. We're going to get her did. Okay, you can tell I'm pretty excited about what just happened here. And I've still got some tuning to do. I haven't touched anything. I still had the vacuum hose off from when I had the timing light on it. I haven't touched the carburetors, but man, it fired up and ran just like it always did. It's going to run really good. And yeah, I can back it out of my shop now if I need to. So once again, I want to thank you all for being here. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you get to spend some time with your family and somebody who loves you. You take care now, and we'll see you real soon right back here on Whalen Wire's Old Iron. I sure do appreciate you.